Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's Thursday here. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning. It's midnight in London. It's 2 a.m. in Israel, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. Don't let it fool you because they didn't set their clocks yet. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live. And we're going to be with you for a whole hour as we're here each week at this time. And we come to you for a whole hour. We want you to be part of the show. And in the hour, we have nothing but talk. All you have to do is get involved with us, and that's how we do it. Because of the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, we get everybody involved. And how we do that, let me explain to you, just in case you're a new member and just here for the first time in your life. Well, as the host of the show, I get things started as I'm doing now. This is my way of getting things rolling. And while we're getting things rolling, you can contact me at any time you want at this particular moment by using your keyboard on your computer or your phone or even on your pad, right? Your iPad or even your tablet, and type in whatever you want to talk about, whatever you have to say. And of course, I'll see you right there on the big screen. I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas and of opinions too, because that's what it's all about. This is a program of thoughts, ideas, and of opinion. That's why we call it Talk Back Live. And you can do that right away, and you can do that right now. And even if you don't want to get involved in the show as far as verbal conversation goes, well, then don't worry about it. Just as long as you're out there, that's what makes the difference. And for those of you who may want to join in a conversation, if you want to add something, there's a particular topic you want to rely on, of course, please feel free. We'll talk about that. We'll entertain your topics or whatever you want to talk about. We talk about anything that you want to talk about. So feel free at any time throughout the show. We're coming to you live from New York City. That's where we originate. And of course, you may be in a different time zone and you may be at work. Some of you guys are at work, some at home right now, and some may be getting ready to go to bed, but don't hit the sack until we finish the show right here. But we got so many things to talk about today. And of course, also, while we're talking to you, we also have our routine that we do on the show each week. For instance, in this particular hour, this particular half hour coming up, we're going to hear from Brian Camp. He's coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where he's coming from. And he's going to be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And those of you who want to join in, you'll get a chance to see him. If you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, of course, you'll get a chance to see him. But as far as the other platform that we have, which is a great platform that everybody loves, which is Instagram, you won't be able to see him because we're not set up that way just yet. But for the rest of you, you'll get a chance to meet him and see him. But for you guys who are watching us on Instagram, you'll get a chance to hear him. You can hear him, and you can ask him any questions you want. That doesn't change. Even if you don't see him, you can still ask questions. We'll see the questions, we'll relay it to him. And of course, he'll answer your questions one by one. So that's all coming up too. Now, if you're watching us on Facebook for the very first time, make sure that you tag all of your friends, let them know that we're out here, tag them all, and maybe if not all, a few of them, and let them know that we're on the air here. And when they see that information coming from you, that tag, they'll know it's from you and they'll click onto it. And it automatically brings them right here where we are right now. And if they like what they see, they like what they hear, maybe they'll be back again and again, because that's how you started, right? And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, I always encourage you to click on to our YouTube channel, go right there and click on to our subscribe button, because we want you to subscribe. And the reason we want you to do that is that it gives you the benefit of knowing when we come on the air, you'll get a chance to get that notification that'll pop right up. And of course, you click the notification and brings you right there. Now, a lot of people, they don't know that. So that's why we're telling you right now. And it doesn't cost you anything to do that. Just costs just a second of your time. And if you're there right now, just click onto it right now and get it over with. You know, there's no IDs, no form, no money, no nothing. Nothing's involved. Just that little bit of effort that you could make to get on there and be part of us. That's all it takes. And for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, you don't have to do anything. The only thing that we want you to do, if you would, please let your friends know about us. Keep the music and the conversation, everything that we do here, keep it all circulating. Let them know that we provide you with all kinds of information, and they can be part of the action too. Remember, just because you're new, that doesn't make you any less important than for people who have been with us a long time. So that's how we have it. And it's all right here on Talkback Live. Now, later on in the program, we have a few things going on besides sports. We also have what we call This Day in History. We have a few tidbits that we're going to bring to you on what happened on this day in history. On this day, it's March 14th. We're speaking of March Madness, but March Madness is another subject that we're going to leave for Brian when he comes in. But if you're right there, please keep that in mind, that you could tag all your friends and let them know all about it, and be part of us, right? And that's all it takes. And also later on in the program, after we do This Day in History, later on in the program, before it's all over, before we end the program off, we're going to give you that information on those great movies. Now, the weekend is coming up. A lot of you may be getting geared up and ready for that and getting ready to do whatever you do on this weekend, and that'll be great. But one of the other things that you may want to set aside on that weekend before the weekend is over is watch some of those old movies, or catch up on some of those old movies that you haven't seen in a long time. And if you're so inclined, I will give you a few to add on to your list on what to watch this weekend. So that's all coming up. It's always my pick, and it comes from Turner Classic Movies, and a lot more happening there. So there you go. Remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talkback Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. So here we are once again. And again, we want to thank you so much for being along with us. And so we want to say hi to all of you guys, wherever you're watching. We're talking to you right there. Hello, Facebook, hello, YouTube, and hello, Instagram. Thank you so much. As you already know, we're still in the month of March, in the middle, already in the middle of March, March 14th. So you could actually say, safe to say it's in the middle. We're right smack dab in the middle of March, March 14th. The months are moving pretty fast. Summer will be along this way. And of course, I would assume that all of you, depending on where you live, has set your clocks. You know, especially people on the East Coast or West Coast Mountain Time and Pacific, you set your clocks, what, up an hour? Right. And so you'll be in sync with the rest of us. So you'll see that now you're getting a little more daylight now. It stays around a little longer. So the days are longer and the nights are shorter. And the summertime is coming. That lets me know that the summertime is coming back. My favorite time of the year. So that's all taking place right there. Okay, so while we're in this month, it's Irish American Heritage Month as well. That's what we're celebrating too. And just a few days from now, what's this, the 14th? 15th, tomorrow is the 15th. Hey, St. Patrick's Day, right? It is the 14th, right? So that means St. Patrick's Day is on Sunday, is it? Is it not? Yeah, St. Patrick's Day will be on Sunday because today is the 14th. Yeah, tomorrow is Friday, the 15th. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is going to be on Sunday. But I would imagine, and I would trust that they do all the celebrations on the eve of that day, which would be that Saturday, you know, because, you know, I don't know that you want to celebrate any activity like that on a Sunday when you know you have to be back to work on the following day. So I'm assuming that wherever you are around the world, across the country, you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day celebration. I'm assuming that it's going to be celebrated on Saturday rather than Sunday. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot to see. Now in New York, they normally have the St. Patrick's Day parade. I haven't heard anything about it, but it's a tradition. And it goes without saying they're going to do a parade there, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that. I've never known that a parade falls on a Saturday. I'm not Well, I guess they do sometimes, depending on the celebration, So I'm assuming that St. Patrick's Day, they're going to have the parade there on Saturday. So that's what we're celebrating: St. Patrick's Day and Irish American History Month, all month long. Also, it's Women's History Month. All the great women who have done many great things to make a great contribution to this country and to the world. As a matter of fact, we celebrate women all across the world and all across the nation. And they have a lot of things that they talk about. If you turn on your news, you see a lot of features that women are doing and creating a lot of things for women only. And of course, this is their time. This is their time, and it's about time. So here we are. I heard a lady one time ask, "Why don't you have an American president? What are you waiting for? In due time, it'll come around quicker than you know." So we're celebrating all of that. So you got the Irish American History Month and Women's Month. Also, what else we're celebrating? I don't know if you know about it. I don't know if you care, but it's a little tidbit that I bring along to you. It's National Potato Chip Day. How about that? Does anybody care to indulge with me? Here you go. It's National Potato Chip Day, right? Huh. Not bad. And so people, wherever you are, you have potato chips, so you're celebrating National Potato Chip. Now, for those of you who eat potato chips on a daily basis, it may not mean anything to you because you eat potato chips anyway. But that's what it is today, National Potato Chip Day. So there we have it. We have all of that in mind. It's right there. And the good news about this potato chip, right, is that it's unsalted. See, a lot of people might say, "Oh, you're drinking, you're eating, it has a lot of sodium," but these are the unsalted kind. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. And speaking of health, we want to tell you also that we always talk about the getting vaccinated, right? Now the vaccines are available, Corona-19 vaccinations. They are available to all of you. And we encourage all of you to do that. Now, a lot of you people who have not caught up on your vaccinations, whatever it is, sometimes it's the flu or whatever it is, whatever you need, you ought to be proactive. Make sure your children are vaccinated as well. But this is a new vaccine. It's the updated version of COVID-19, and people are taking it. Now, if you're so inclined to do that, please go to your pharmacist around the corner or across the street or wherever it is closer to you, and just tell them you want to get vaccinated for the COVID-19. The updated version, that's the updated version. And maybe they'll give it to you on the spot. I don't know, depending on where you live. Or maybe you would just have to make an arrangement to do that. In other words, you'll probably have to go online or to make an appointment, or maybe they'll allow you to make the appointment right there on the premises. But it doesn't matter. Whenever you make that appointment, whatever day it is, keep the appointment. It's very important. And so get on board with that if you possibly can. And some people who weren't on board on it before, they decided they have a change of mind, which is a good thing, which I'm proud to hear. They decided, well, you know something, all conspiracy theories were lies, and they said about the vaccinations, I think I'll get on board with it, and they do it. But it's a good thing to do, and of course, as I said, you make sure your children get them too if they're of age to do so. Make sure they get them too, right? It's the COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, Eric Carmen, who became an icon in the early 70s, the 70s power pop, as the frontman for the Raspberries before achieving solo success with his tunes like All By Myself and Hungry Eyes, has passed away in his sleep over the last weekend. And while mostly known as the balladeer in the early 70s, the Cleveland-born musician was the primary singer and songwriter of the Raspberries. He was 74 years old. Malachi McCourt, an Irish-American author and radio personality who also appeared in television shows as the bartender of the popular daytime soap opera Ryan's Hope. That goes back many years. He died Monday in New York. Ryan's Hope ran for between 1975 to 1989. The show focused on an Irish-American family living in New York's Washington Heights. Malachi McCourt was 92 years old. I remember he had a show, or he used to be a fill-in host on WMCA a long time ago. And then I got to know him too as well. He worked on another radio station where I worked, and I got to know him too. What a swell guy he was. So we sent our blessings out to all of his family and friends. His brother Frank died before him. He was also an author. Okay, it's now time to do what we're supposed to be doing right now, and we're going to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, because that's where Brian Camp is, and he's coming to us with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update right here on March Madness, and he got all the goods for you. And there he is right there, right on your screen. Hello, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Malachi McCoy, I remember him as a kid. I remember on WMCA. I didn't know he was the bartender for Ryan's.
Yeah, he played the character of Kevin. His name was Kevin.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Like memory in the 70s.
Yeah.
But good evening to you and everybody out there who's out tuning in globally, nationally, and locally. I'm coming from Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's 70 degrees right now, and it's a pretty great day today. Our high was up to 82 degrees, and it was a pretty good day. It was a little chilly in the morning. It was 40-something degrees, but out here in the South, it gets warm very fast. So but I'm glad that we are here. And we're going to do sports. I'm going to put on my glasses and get ready. No, I'm not getting older. It's just that I just feel better with the glasses. It makes me look better on camera and everything. But it is that time of the year again. March Madness is here. It is here among us. We'll get to that in a second, but we're going to talk about the NFL football. 3 men from Kansas City, Missouri face firearm charges, including a gun trafficking after an investigation into the mass shooting of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade and rally. Fido Antonio Manning, 22, was charged in a 12-count complaint. Ronell Dwayne Williams Jr., 21, and Shalene Hendrick Grove, 19, were charged in 4 counts of complaints. At least 6 people fired the weapons. We don't say what kind of weapons, but it was guns. It could have been a rifle or what, but it was a total of 12, but 6 were, as we know, it was an estimated 1 million people that attended the celebration. 2 men, Lydell Mays and Dominic Miller, were earlier charged with second-degree murder and several weapon counts. So that's the latest of that story about the parade. That was an unfortunate thing. You go into a parade to celebrate your team's Super Bowl victory in Kansas City, and this happens. We don't know what sparked it, but whenever you have a big, massive crowd of people, these things do happen. So we will find out more details as we go along. The New York Jets' Aaron Rodgers is on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s short list to be his running mate as an independent presidential ticket in November. Oh, gosh. There's more. JFK Jr. confirmed to the newspaper that Rodgers and former Minnesota governor and professional wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura, another one, are under consideration. Now, it's unclear whether or not either of them were formally offered the position, but this is what has become of our country. Athletes and wrestlers going to trying to become presidents and vice presidents. We know Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Is related to the famous Kennedy family, JFK, Robert F. K, and all the Kennedys, and we don't know what's going to happen. The family is usually known as to be Democrats, but he's going on the independent ticket. More of that to come later. Former New York Mets and Yankee star Darryl Strawberry is recovering from a heart attack and is at SSM Health St. Joseph Hospital. Strawberry posted a photo of himself at the hospital on Instagram and wrote, "I am so happy and honored to report that all is well." The Mets will retire his number 18 on June 1st. The Mets will also retire Strawberry's teammate number just before that, I believe. It's going to be right before Dwight Gooden, number 16, on April 14th. Now, these are two friends. They've been friends. They came up together in the farm system. They had their ups and downs off the field, but we're glad that they are recovering and doing the best that they can. Darryl Strawberry and his wife, they have a ministry of a church that they both share, and we wish nothing but the best for them and wish them well. But back to March Madness. Yes, it's that time of the year. Presently, right now, they're doing conference tournaments. This is not the big tournament. This is just the conference tournaments. The Big East, the ACC, the SEC, all these other tournaments, the Pac-12, they're doing all the tournaments now and Selection Sunday, which means that they're going to pick the 68 teams that's going to be going into the tournament. It's actually 64, but you got some play-in tournaments that's going to happen during the week. And a week from tonight will be the actual start of March Madness of the tournament. Yes. But right now, these are conference tournaments that they're playing to determine who goes in and who's not going to go in. So it's that time of the year. We're going to have a lot of Cinderella teams that's going to be there. We're going to have upsets. There's guaranteed there's going to be some upsets teams that you wouldn't even think that would be the top schools, but we are going to have them. There's going to be some favorites that will make it, but week one is going to be fun. It's going to be then after week one, you got the Sweet 16, and then the final week could be the Final Four, and then on that Monday, which leads, I believe, into April, the first couple of days in April will be the national championship, along with the women as well too. They're going to have their selection soon, so we're going to bring you more information next week, next Thursday. Like I said, the men's, they start theirs a week from tonight. So, and then tune in to see your favorite school. There's going to be a lot of cheerleadings, of course. The cheerleaders are going to be informed. The bands, the marching bands, is going to be fun. It's going to be lots of fun. This day in sports, March 14th, the Milwaukee Braves future home run king, Hank Aaron, homers in his debut exhibition games versus the Red Sox. 1956, 50-year-old Satchel Paige signed a contract to play and manage for the Birmingham Black Barons. That's in the old Negro League. 1961, former New York Yankee GM George Weiss becomes the first president of the New York Mets. 1972, NBA Cincinnati Royals announced they are moving their franchise to Kansas City due to poor attendance. When you have poor attendance, you're not gaining any revenue. And this is what happens when you don't have any fans coming in. You lose money. Back then, they didn't really have no TV contracts, but it didn't go too well. So that's why they had to move to Kansas City. 1978, the NFL permanently added a seventh official, which is a side judge. 1992, New York Mets, Darryl Boston, Vince Carter, and Dwight Gooden accused of rape. They were acquitted. Nothing happened. So, we don't know exactly what really happened, but these three men were acquitted. Birthdays on this day, 1946. Happy birthday to the late Wes Unseld, NBA Hall of Famer center and Finals MVP of 1978 of the Washington Bullets, was born in Louisville, Kentucky. 1960, Kirby Puckett, Major League Baseball center fielder, World Series champion in 1987, and 6 times Gold Glove Award, was born in Chicago, Illinois. In 1969, Larry Johnson, NBA forward for the Charlotte Hornets. He used to play here. Yeah, that's when the team started. He used to play here in Charlotte. And he used to play for the Knicks. Was born in Tyler, Texas, 1988. Steph Curry, NBA guard, three-point career leader, record holder, was born in Akron, Ohio. And 1997, Simone Biles, American gymnast, a 2016 gold medalist, was born in Columbus, Ohio. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a beautiful, warm day here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
You know, when some people talk about like politics and they say, what does it have to do with sports? And the item that you read with about JFK making his announcement with possibly have, well, let's toss something. They can't both do it. Aaron Rodgers and Jesse Ventura, right? First of all, JFK might as well just forget about it and just go home.
You mean Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Oh, JFK. I said Robert F. Kennedy. I met Robert F. Kennedy. He might as well pack it up and go home. Forget it. But you know, his choice. Well, you know, Jesse Ventura. He has an experience in politics after he left wrestling, so we know
he was Minnesota.
But where does Aaron Rodgers come in?
Aaron Rodgers applied for the job for Jeopardy, as we remember. You know, that didn't go too well. Aaron Rodgers is, you know, a lot of people call him a diva. You know, he's just a guy that just, I don't know. You know, I kind of like the guy for his ability to play football, but a lot of people see him as arrogant and very, you know, very cocky and everything. I don't know where the politics come from with Aaron Rodgers. He's under contract with the Jets. He told the Jets that he's going to play again this year, coming up. So I don't quite understand Rodgers at all. I really don't.
Well, Rodgers is I can see him having a future in politics. You know why? Because he's good at his conspiracy theories. Do you remember the time? Do you remember the time when he got on the air? He got on someone's podcast. I can't remember. He got on somebody's podcast and who was that? What were you saying? Pat McAfee, right? Pat McAfee, right? And he's an announcer on the WWE too. Anyway, he got on his show and linked Jeffrey Epstein. Remember Jeff Epstein, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
He associated Jimmy Kimmel with Jeffrey Epstein. In other words, Jimmy Kimmel was like supposed to have allegedly paid for sex or something, because you know Jeffrey Epstein was involved with the sex trafficking and everything, you know. And he associated with Jimmy Kimmel and with Jeffrey Epstein, and Jimmy Kimmel was about to sue him.
Wow.
I don't know if you heard that story.
I did not hear that one. No, I did not hear that one.
He got on the air with Pat McAfee, and that Jimmy Kimmel was associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, you see, he's a former football player. He was a punter. I don't know if you knew that. He was a former football player. He got into wrestling. I think he did get into wrestling for a while. And he has his own show right after First Take on ESPN.
Yeah.
So he built himself up to be a great personality. The wrestling thing I just recently found out. I didn't realize he was in the wrestling, but yeah. So it is what it is.
Who are we talking about here?
You said Pat McAfee, right?
Pat McAfee. I said, yeah, on his show. Yeah. But I didn't know he was, well, he's still involved with wrestling, but he's not in the ring. He does announcing.
Right. But he's a former football player too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he's a former football player. A lot of these football players left football or retired and went into wrestling. Like, remember Ernie the Big Cat Lad?
Yeah.
Wrestling. back in the 70s, he used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And he went into wrestling, you know. There's a lot of guys. What's his name? The late the name skips me. Carl Weathers was a football player, but you know, he didn't go into wrestling. Rocky Johnson had some football experience. Rocky Johnson is the father of The Rock.
Yeah. The Rock. Well, he's Rock. His father was Rocky Johnson, and
Rocky Old Man Johnson. Yes,
it's Dwayne Johnson.
Well, his son name is Dwayne Johnson, who was the right. Yeah.
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 You mean the father had experience in football?
He had some experience in football. Yes. Nothing on a high level, but he had played the game. I don't know if it was professionally, but he has a football background.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know. But getting back to the original subject at hand, you know, when Aaron Rodgers made that statement on Patrick's show, I call him Patrick, but it's Pat McAfee. He got on the show, and then Pat McAfee later on apologized for that statement that he put on the air because he didn't want to screw up his show, you know.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers, I don't know him as far as I only know him like the rest of the world know him. But that was
he's a diva. Oh my goodness.
Well, and I could tell, you could see that he's an arrogant son of a.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if he goes into politics, he's going to be well groomed. He's going to be well groomed, and I don't know what side of the aisle he's from, but it doesn't matter. You know, they're all the same basically. So, but then that's another show. So baseball is coming back pretty soon. As a matter of fact, the Yankees. Everybody starts on the 28th, I believe.
They start late March. I know that the ace pitcher, Eric Cole, I think is his name, is going to be on the stable list. He's going to be out for a couple of months. For what I read, he has some injury, and so he's going to be out for a while. Yeah.
Now the Dodgers and the Padres are going to start a little early because they're going to be coming out of Seoul.
They're going to, this is what Major League Baseball is trying to do. They're trying to start games out of the country. And they're gonna, they're gonna take a week off or a couple of days off and come back to the States, and then they're gonna resume playing Major League Baseball. They've been doing this here for like the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good. And there's another item too. I'm trying to think of his name. I got it right here. Hold on a second. Jonathan Owens. Jonathan Owens. I don't know if you might have mentioned that and I didn't hear it, but he's going to the NFL. I mean, he's in the NFL, but he's got to deal with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, speaking of football, they are having the free agent. Off to sign free agents that just started like early this week. I believe it started Monday. So a lot of the teams are like jockeying for getting players off the free agent market. Some of them, they can't pay them because of the salary cap. The salary cap, has been a big thing coming out of sports now. The only one that salary cap, I believe, is baseball, but they have a luxury tax. Mm-hmm. So that's something totally different. But they just recently raised the salary cap for them recently. So, they're just trying to get the best teams. And we didn't even talk about the draft yet. The draft is coming up next month in April, the football draft. So there's going to be there's going to be a lot of movement with your teams. Even the Vikings. The Vikings lost their quarterback. What's his name? Cousins, and he's now with the Atlanta Falcons and everything. So can't make any predictions just yet, because the draft is coming up, and
September, you know it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. Jonathan Owens was married to Simone Biles.
Simone
Biles.
The gymnast, right?
Yes, gymnast, I
Yeah,
didn't even know she was married, period. But I didn't
yeah,
know she was married to him. Wait,
yeah,
you something new every day.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, and then we look forward to the Summer Olympics that's coming up in Paris. And people getting geared up for that. Which, by the way, speaking of Simone, I think she's going to be in it too as well. So
Mhm.
it's a lot
Yeah,
of
we're going to definitely talk more about that,
yeah,
and that time will come closer for the summer. But right now, we got to get to spring before we can reach to the summer, and
yeah,
we got to get to baseball season. But
yeah.
right now, it's March Madness. This is for those next couple of weeks. This is where it's going to be at. March Madness is going to be. It's going to be March Madness mania. It's going to be out of. It's going to be out of this world.
March Madness Mania. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Well, I guess we'll catch you back here tomorrow, no? Oh, yes?
Tomorrow and 20, yes.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds like a plan. We look forward to seeing you then.
Okay.
Okay,
Everybody. Oh,
okay. Take care of yourself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here each week at this time. Love talking sports with him and outside of the box as well. We do that. There's nothing wrong with that, going outside of the box. So we talk sports, but go outside of the box. So, because sometimes when you go outside of the box, it kind of like has more relationships with sports. And so we try to keep that going too. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with going out of the box. See, I can do that on this is my show. So I do it. I do it my way. Some people just like want to stick to the that has nothing to do with sports. But as I said, we talk about everything here. And that's one of the reasons I like doing this show. We can talk about anything. So if you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and that's what we're doing right now, talking back live to you and everybody else watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Hello, Mary. Mary is out there watching us. Mary Reed out of Brooklyn, New York. And of course, she comes out here and visits us. And for the rest of you guys who don't say anything, but we know that you're there, and we really appreciate that you coming out here watching us. And as I always say, it's always a good thing that if you don't want to say anything in particular, as long as you're watching, you want to just grab on what's happening with the show, kind of make sense of it. That's all right too. But hopefully, eventually, you'll come out of the shell and say, okay, I think I'll talk to him and say hi, even if you just say hi. A lot of people do that. Anyway, we're so glad to have you aboard with us, and we're going to be here till the top of the hour. And so many things are happening. And so we're going to keep things rolling. Right now, I think it's about that time, don't you think? Don't you think it's about that time? Let's go back in time on this day in history. And let's go back in time. See if you remember this year. 1794, Eli Whitney patents the cotton gin machine, revolutionizing the cotton industry in the southern U.S. In 1880, the Salvation Army of England starts work in the U.S. at Harry Hill's Variety Show. That's the Variety Theater in New York City. On this day in history, 1922, KGU AM radio in Honolulu, Hawaii begins broadcasting. On this day in history, 1925, the musical Big Boy starring Al Jolson closes at the Winter Garden Theater in New York City after 56 performances. On this day in history, 1940, The Road to Singapore, starring Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and Dorothy Lamour. The first of 7 such films premiered that year. On this day in history, 1946, Gilda, starring Rita Hayworth and Glenn Ford, premieres in New York City. On this day in history, 1969, that was a great year. That was my first year in college. I remember Barbara Jo Rubin becomes the first female jockey to win an aqueduct race track. In 1972, the 14th Grammy Awards go to Carole King, Bill Withers, Carly Simon, Isaac Hayes, Muddy Waters, and Bill Evans. They're all the winners. And on this day in history, 1973, former U.S. Senator John McCain is released after spending over 5 years in North Vietnam prisoner of war camp. In 1975, The Prisoner of Second Avenue, that's a movie starring Jack Lemmon and Anne Bancroft, premieres in New York City. Back in 1987, the 13th annual 13th People Choice Award, and it goes to Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep. They win for motion picture, and Bill Cosby and Sybil Shepherd wins for TV. In 1990, the 4th Soul Train Music Awards go to Soul and Janet Jackson. On this day in history, in 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev becomes president of the Soviet Congress. In the year 2005, the 20th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees were Buddy Guy, the OJs, the Pretenders, Percy Sledge, U2, Frank Barcelona, and Seymour Stein. Back in 2006, Mike Wallace retires from U.S. Program that news called 60 Minutes after 37 years. And back in 2018, Angela Merkel was sworn in as the 4th term as German Chancellor, head of the coalition government, 171 days after the general election. In 2021, the 63rd Grammy Awards go to Beyonce. She breaks the record for most Grammy-winning awards as a singer. Taylor Swift wins Album of the Year, and Billie Eilish is the Record of the Year. And let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, here's one that you might remember. Physicist Albert Einstein was born on this day in 1879, and he was born in Germany Empire. He died in 1955 at the age of 76 years old. In 1912, Les Brown, the American big band leader, was born in Ryanster, Pennsylvania, and he died in 2001. In 1931, on this day in history, singer Phil Phillips, remember the music Sea of Love? Well, he was born in Cowley, Louisiana. He died 2020. Actor Michael Caine was born on this day in 1933 in London, England. He's 91 years old today. Quincy Jones was born also in 1933 in Chicago, Illinois, also 91 years old today. It's hard to believe. In 1934, swing and blues organist Shirley Scott was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, good friend of mine. She died in 2002. In 1936, singer-songwriter Hoagy Carmichael weds Ruth Minardi, and they got divorced in 1955. On this day in history, 1943, actress Lana Turner and actor Steve Kane remarried in Tijuana, Mexico, and they got divorced the following year, 1944. On this day in history, 1946, novelist Ernest Hemingway weds for the fourth and final time to journalist Mary Walsh until his death in 1961. In 2006, comedian and actor Jack Black weds musician and animator Tanya Harding in Big Sur, California. In 2014, actress Jamie Lynn Spears, that's the sister of Britney Spears, weds businessman Jamie Watson in New Orleans, Louisiana. Actress Susan Haywood died on this day in 1975 at the age of 57 years old from brain cancer. She was born June 20th, 1917 in New York City. To be more blunt, she was born in Brooklyn, New York. In 2010, actor Peter Grave dies from a heart attack and at the age of 83 years old. Physicist Steve Hawking died on this day in 2018, and he was 79 years old. He was born January 8th, 1942 in Oxford, England. In the year 2020, singer Phil Phillips, we already said him, here he is, Sea of Love. Well, he died on that day. He was born and then he died 2020, and he was 94 years old. And finally, 2023, jazz and pop singer Bobby Caldwell. Remember his record, What You Won't Do for Love? Well, he dies from a long-term illness, and he's had a strong reaction to antibiotics, and he was 71 years old. So that's what we have on this day in history. And if you know what's happening on this day in history, you know anything further that's happening on this day in history, well, we would like to know that. You know, we don't have everything, all the details of every little thing that comes along, but we certainly like to hear your input, because we do depend on you for a lot of things that we may not cover. And that's the whole thing, because that's why we always ask you to be part of the show, because we may not always have the information that we so desire to put out there for you. So thank you, everybody, for being along with us. And if you're just joining us again, the name of the show is Cold and Coffee. I want to say hello to Mickey Jones, another Brooklynite out there. Mickey Jones, Brooklynite, but he's now living, they all moved from Brooklyn because, you know, it's not that they don't love Brooklyn. It's just that sometimes life change and you have to change along with it. But Mickey now lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, but he's a Brooklyn boy through and through. He always talks about Brooklyn no matter where he roams, no matter where you roam. If you're from Brooklyn, you always acknowledge it. I no longer live in Brooklyn, but I'm a Brooklyn boy through and through, always will be. And there you go. Mickey, thanks for being out there with us, and welcome to the show. And for the rest of you who are joining us too, we always thank you for being around with us. Now, for those of you who don't want to get involved in conversation, that's okay too. But you may, of course, want to get in touch with me personally. So I have an email address and a telephone number that I want to give to you, just in case you want to do so. You can get in touch with me anytime you want. I'll start with the email address. The email address first is Frank Allan Prod. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. That's very important because, you spell it different ways, but if you don't spell it the right way, you'll never get the email through. That's Frank Allan Prod, P-R-O-D. That's short for Productions. Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. My telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Now, when you get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me for various reasons, and we don't care what it is, but we like to hear from you. You may want to talk about the show. You may want to critique the show. You may have ideas for the show. You may want to come on the show and take it over and kick me off. You'll have to email me to do that. You just don't do it like that. However, folks, anything that you want to talk about, or even if you just want to say hi, it's good. And if you want to critique the show with I would like to say constructive criticism, that's okay. I'm open ears for that. We're all open ears for that. And because it helps us, it doesn't hurt us when you tell us that. It only helps us, because we are interested in what you have to say about it. So anyway, if you are so inclined to get in touch with us, and keep all of that information that I gave you in your phone. Now, if you're still into the Rolodex scene, well, whatever, I don't think they make them anymore, but some people still have their Rolodex on their desk just to keep, I don't know, just to keep things going. I don't know. Anyway, however you place it, just keep it in a place where you get access to it very easily. And, but for the most part, people keep information in their phones, so all they have to do is just open it up and look it right up there. So anyway, again, let me give you the email address again, frankallanprod at AOL.com. That's frankallanprod at AOL.com. And the telephone number, once again, is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Once again, that's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. You heard about it. The House on Wednesday passed a bill with broad bipartisan support that would force TikTok's Chinese owner to either sell the huge popular video app, or the U.S. may ban it. All right. Now, I'd like to get your opinion on that one. Now, I got to tell you, for some people, this is exciting news. And for the most part, the people in the Republican Party, that's good news for them. If the United States decide to ban TikTok, that's good news for them. You know why? Because the move escalated a showdown, and this happened yesterday, between Beijing and Washington over the control of a wide range of technologies that found and affect national security, that may affect national security and speech and social media industry. So all of these things they claim may affect all of that. And the Republican Party don't mind it at all, you know? And they took a vote on it. The vote came out, I think, it was 342 to 65. That's slam dunk for the Republicans right there. And so they passed that. It's not official yet. They just passed it just to bring it to the chamber, where they eventually want to dismantle it, or, as you say, ban it from the United States of America. Now, I know there's a lot of young people. I don't know what they're going to do if they decide to do that. But there are a lot of young people on TikTok. Now, I'm not a TikToker myself, but I do go on TikTok because I love to see some of the talent that's displayed on there. I go there for that. But TikTok is not only used for talented people who sing and dance and do other things and possibly want to be discovered, which is a good way for them to be discovered. It's not only for that, it's for people who are in business, small businesses, right? People who are in politics use that and want to keep it. But this discussion has been going on for a long time. And they're saying, oh, you know something, we want to ban this because they're thinking that it's going to disrupt or horn in on a lot of personal information, US information. But I got to tell you, if that's what they're worried about, you know, what's the difference between TikTok doing that, and then you got a guy that wants to run for president who won't even give up those documents, right? He didn't want to give up those documents and was willing, supposedly, allegedly, wanted to either sell it or give it to Russia. You know, so what would be the difference between one man doing the same thing that they're accusing of the TikTokers doing? I don't get it. But, you know, this is what they want, and this is what they're striving to do. You know, if anyone is out there that's a TikToker, a dedicated TikToker, and you really enjoy it, I'd like to hear from you. You know, if I don't hear from you tonight, you know, you have my email address and my telephone number. I'm interested in hearing that. And if you happen to leave a message on my line, or if you happen to email me or something, or even hit me up on Facebook or something like that with that information on how you feel, possibly I can bring it out to all of you. And possibly I could have you guys on the show, you know, and give us your real feelings, you know, a selective group of people on the show to give us your real feelings about it. But this is where we are right now. And so along with that, there's also the possibility of our falling democracy and taking our rights away. Women's rights is very important. It's very important. You know, they want to take that away. They want to take us back to the Stone Age. I don't know. A lot of you may not be able to remember the 1950s. Okay, I do. And I remember the 1950s when women, when they stayed home and did no work, and the men did the work, because men refused to let women work because they were the breadwinners. And they called them, back in those days, they called them housewives. Housewives. You know, I thought about that today. You know, you're not going to use that terminology anymore. Housewives. There's another terminology for it. I don't even know if they use that anymore. They used to call them domestic engineers. I don't know if they use that anymore. But the thing that I've heard them use is stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads. But there's no longer the housewives. That's all gone. It's all gone. But they want to take us back there. And even though if you go back to the 1950s with groceries, you can get a big slew of groceries, a big box of groceries, and only pay $3 for it. That was a good thing about the 1950s. But even then, back in those days, the value of the dollar was pretty high. Even back then. So if your mom and your dad shelled out $3 for groceries and they came home and says, wow, that's a lot of groceries. They cost me a lot of money. You know, that was a lot of money. If you had a $5 bill in your pocket, that was a lot of money. If your parents gave you a $5 allowance, I don't know, you had to be well-to-do back then to take $5 for an allowance, yeah, you were doing pretty good, you know. But other than that, you don't want to really go back there. You don't want to go back there politically, and you don't want to go back there intellectually, because you want to keep advancing. And that's what they want to do. They want to take us back. So all of you who are TikTokers, I'd like to hear from you on that. I can't give you my full feelings on whether or not they should ban TikTok, because I'm not a TikToker. I don't indulge. I'm not saying that I won't in the near future. Maybe it has a purpose for me later on, but at this particular time, no, I don't get involved in TikTokers. I only go there to watch some of the great talent that's on there. And I think one of the things about TikTok, I think it's a good way to express talent, such as YouTube, of course, too, you know. So if they're doing any damage, if China is indeed doing any damage, then of course, then, you know, I'm not for all of that, you know. But then again, when you look at social media as a whole, what social media platform isn't keeping your secrets? Think about that. Think about that. Who knows what's happening on Facebook? Who knows what's happening on YouTube? Who knows what's happening on Instagram and TikTok and all of these places, right? Social media is something that you have to be very careful with, just as anything else. Very careful of social media. Watch what you say. Watch how you market yourself. If you're a singer or you're an actor or whatever it is, watch how you market yourself. Watch what you put out there, because they can make you something with this AI thing going on now. As you already know, AI could be positive or negative. I use it on a positive term. People use it on a negative term. People use your likeness, and you don't get paid a dime for it, and it's crazy. But again, I would like to hear some of you people about this TikTok thing. You know, and I can't mention it tonight, but we could sure talk about it on the coffee hour tomorrow. Movies this weekend, I have a few that I want to talk to you about. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give it to you now. These are my picks of the week that I bring to you. And these picks are to add to the movies that you may want to watch or catch up with over the weekend. If you're not doing anything crazy, or if you're not cooking out or having a barbecue or anything, but if you want to take the time out to watch movies, I'm going to lay a few on you right now. Here's one from 1976 called Network. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. That's a phrase from that movie. And it stars Faye Dunaway, Peter Finch, and William Holden. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can catch that Saturday at 2:15 a.m. Eastern. And I got to tell you, if you are not up at that hour, you could always DVR it and then later on watch it at your own convenience. And here's another one from 1962, Gypsy. If you like musicals, this is a good one called Gypsy, starring Rosalind Russell, Natalie Wood, and Carl Malden. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can catch that Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And here's another one, Finian's Rainbow from 1968. Here's another one of my favorites too, Fred Astaire, Petula Clark, and Tommy Steele. Turner Classic Movies, that's Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you go on YouTube, or if you go on to any of these places, particularly Turner, if you watch Turner Classic Movies on cable, if you go to Turner Classic Movies on cable, go there and go to the program guide, because the program guide may have other movies that I didn't mention that you may like. It's just that these are my picks of the week. There were only 3 this week. And these are the ones that I picked this week. But that's why I always suggest that you go to Turner Classic Movies and check out the program guide. And while you're there too, go there and check out the free movies, right? On demand. There are a lot of them from A to Z. The pay-per-view movies too that you can watch, the movies that are currently in the theaters and the ones that were just recently in the theaters. And of course, you have sporting events, children's program, and a whole lot of great things that you can watch. So let me tell you about these movies again. Network, Faye Dunaway, Peter Finch, and William Holden, Turner Classic Movies, Saturday at 2:15 a.m. Eastern. Gypsy with Rosalind Russell, Natalie Wood, and Carl Malden, Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And Finian's Rainbow, Fred Astaire, Petula Clark, and Tommy Steele. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's all right there on Turner Classic Movies. That's going to wrap it up for me for tonight. I had a good time. I hope you did too. I will be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. because we have a date tomorrow on the coffee hour. I hope that you be here with me. Brian Camp is going to be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And I hope that you be here too. If not, meet me back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be with me. And of course, we'll do it all over again. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a good morning, good afternoon, good night, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.